Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. We're here today with some really exciting news from one of my favorite bands. Today, Avenged Sevenfold announced their new drummer replacing Aaron ELJ, and it is former Bad Religion drummer Brooks Wackermann. And I couldn't be more excited about this. I have listened to the interview twice today on my way to work and on the way back, and just the way that Brooks is talking about joining Avenged and his reasonings for doing so just has me filled with so much confidence, and hearing M Shadows talk about it as well just really reinforces the excitement that I have right now. It was announced today on Chris Jericho's podcast, Talk is Jericho. I'm not a big listener to the podcast, but he did a really solid job doing this interview, and it goes for about an hour and a half, I think. Maybe it's less than that, but I can't really remember. But yeah, so you may remember maybe a week ago, Bad Religion came out and announced that Brooks was leaving the band, and nobody in the world connected those dots, knowing that Avenged was announcing their new drummer today, and then having Bad Religion make that announcement a week or so ago. I don't think anybody made that connection that he was going to be the guy to replace Aaron. I was never really a big fan of Aaron. I mean, he was solid, he was fine, like he could play live, but Hail to the King, drums-wise, was really disappointing. I know they did that intentionally, but I think they did that intentionally because they knew he couldn't play or write stuff good enough to make the drums crazy. And I think they kind of hinted at that today in the interview. Just to list off a couple of bands that Brooks has played for. He's played for Bad Religion, of course. He's played for the Vandals. He's played for Suicidal Tendencies. He's played for Tenacious D. And I saw him personally in 2013. Blink-182 played Soundwave Festival down here in Australia, and Brooks filled in for Travis, and he was incredible. You could close your eyes and you'd think it was Travis playing. He is so good, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what he does. The latest album he played on was Tom DeLonge's To the Stars album. I wasn't a big fan of the album, but the drumming was solid. And some things that they touched on in the interview which were really cool was that he was friends with the Rev, which is something that I think should be a prerequisite for joining the band. It really should be, because then you know where the band is coming from when they tell you how good of a guy he was and why it has taken such a big hit on the band. And then Matt went into some context about the Avenged's reasoning for firing Aaron. And I know firing is a bit of a harsh term, but really that is what happened. And they just said pretty much like he came in the middle of a tour when Mike Portnoy left, and he was a 21-year-old kid with completely different influences, and they really had nothing in common with the guy. And they said writing with him just didn't feel right, and I can totally get that. I can tell that there was no chemistry. Even when I saw them live with Aaron, like, he played the parts, but you could tell, looking back on it now, that the band were really looking behind them the whole time to make sure that Aaron was playing properly, and they just didn't seem comfortable on stage with Aaron. And then they talked about where they're going to go with Brooks from now on, and they said they're going to go back to a more full and crazy kind of sound. They said they purposely stripped back on Hail to the King, but they want to go back to a thicker sound with lots of crazy stuff going on in the drums, and I'm sure in the guitars, of course, because it's Sinister Gates, and layered vocals again, and all that kind of stuff, which I love about Avenged. And they also said that Brooks has already started writing with them, and that he's even writing riffs and just emailing back and forth, and they only live down the road, so they're playing all the time, and I can't wait to hear this next Avenged album with Brooks on it. I think it's going to be phenomenal. It's expected to come out next year. I wouldn't stick too close to that because Avenged are known for taking long amounts of time to do albums. So hopefully we get a new Avenged album in 2016, but if not, we'll definitely get one in 2017. This is such a great announcement and I can't wait to see how it sounds. So that was my video for today. Thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow, there's a few reviews coming. So tomorrow, the new album from Ellie Goulding comes out called Delirium. And then also, I'm going to be reviewing a smaller band's EP that is coming out tomorrow. And that is Dorje are releasing their EP Catalyst, which I'll definitely be checking out because it is, from what I've heard so far, really, really good. So make sure you hit subscribe down below and come back for that. I've been Christian. I'll see you later.